Okay, everybody, good afternoon. We've got ourselves a little bit of a shakeup in the NFC playoffs, and Seattle now knows for a fact who their divisional round opponent will be. I just finished watching the game over here to my right. By the way, we are going with the floating head Brendan today, in case you guys didn't notice. I got a new shirt that's perfect for it, so we're going to be seeing more of it, I think. But yeah, San Francisco 49ers go into Philadelphia and pull off the upset 23-19, which means the Seahawks are playing the 49ers next week. That is your first playoff game. That is the playoff matchup. It's the team that we played about a week ago and beat. It's a team we have already played twice this year. So obviously, maybe there's going to be a little bit of disappointment. We're not getting somebody new. But we went in today knowing it was going to be a team that we had already played twice this season. All right, everybody, before we go any further into the video, I want to take a minute to tell you guys about a wonderful app called Sleeper, a one-stop shop for all your sports needs. You can celebrate and chat about sports in real time with other users. You can get all kinds of scores, sports news, and sports alerts with blazing fast speed. And of course, you can play in fantasy leagues and win real money on picks contests. So enjoy sports with other people in a community. Download the Sleeper app today and remember to use the promo code SBN, that is SBN, for up to $100 match on your first deposit. And they also have a free $20 entry right now, no deposit required. So pair those two up. Terms and conditions do apply. See Sleeper's terms of use for details. Currently operational in over 25 states and growing. Check out the Sleeper app and have fun with sports this year. Right. So pretty interesting game in Philadelphia just now. I expected Philly to just be able to run the ball at will on San Fran's defense, and not really. I mean, their run game was okay, but they certainly didn't control the game on the ground. In fact, their 140 yards were significantly girded by a 30-yard run by Saquon earlier in the game. And overall, it actually felt like San Francisco got what they wanted from their run defense. So they that didn't come to pass. And also, while the 49ers were not able to really run the ball either, and they turned it over multiple times, it was just one of those things where that Eagles offense can't get out of their own way. They haven't really been able to all year. They've been able to overcome it to win some tough games anyway. But we saw today that eventually it's going to come and get you. And even though I didn't think Philly was going to lose today necessarily, I kind of figured they were going to lose at some point. So we got the 49ers. Now, one thing about today's game is that the 49ers won on the scoreboard. They did lose George Kittle, and based on early reports, George Kittle is going to be done for a while. Definitely not playing next week, so we don't have to game plan for George Kittle. And in fact, I would be surprised if George Kittle is ready to play for the start of next season. It looked pretty bad, and the early reports are that it is an Achilles tear. I mean, that could be, I don't think that's really a career ender at this point, but George Kittle is an older player. So I don't know exactly what's going on with his long-term plans after that game, but that was obviously a really tough moment for San Francisco. The fact that they were able to find a way to win that game with Kittle out, and they built a significant part of their game plan around him when they already didn't have Pearsall and they were getting nothing from the run game. It shows you that they are a very well-coached team and they are a very gutty and scrappy team. So I'm not saying that we got nothing to worry about next week, but I do believe the things that I have said previously should hold. McDonald versus Shanahan is a matchup that McDonald has almost always come out on top in when they've gone up against each other. It's happened 5 times, and McDonald has gotten the better of Shanahan 4 times, at least in terms of his defense versus the Niners offense. And while that Niners offense will have Trent Williams back, it looks like, because he did play today, they're not going to have Kittle, and who knows what's going on with Pearsall. So they're not really healthy right now. And because we're getting the Niners in the divisional, it's unlikely they're going to get Fred Warner back by that time as well. So it's not a bad time to catch the Niners, especially because they had to gut out a really tough win today. They had to score 13 points in the fourth quarter. They had to stage a late comeback. It's definitely one of those things where they've probably had to give a lot of what they had to get the win here, and they may not have a lot left for next week, which is almost always going to be the case in the divisional round when you have teams coming off a bye week playing teams that just had to play a game. In many cases, a tough, difficult, gutted out game, which I would say this game was. I mean, it was still a game with less than a minute to go. I think that's always going to be, there's a certain level of exertion. So that is your matchup. Let me know what you guys think about it down below. Obviously, we've talked about the 49ers a lot this year. So I think we know what that team is. I think we know what they're all about. I think it's going to be even kind of weird for me to do a pregame video later this week because when you think about it, we've had the discussion about the Niners multiple times already, and what has really changed. The only thing that's really changed is injuries, and they were pretty injured last time we played them too. Now, obviously, you look at a game like today and you think to yourself, well, that Niners offense, they went into Philly and they put up a pretty decent performance, right? That 49ers offense today went up against an Eagles defense that I think was ranked 5th in the league and actually did okay. And you wonder if maybe they're figuring some stuff out, if maybe things are going to be a little bit different this time around compared to week 18. And look, I don't expect us to hold the 49ers to 3 points the whole game. I don't. That's very, very hard to do against anybody. But at the same time, I do look at this 49ers team. I look at what they've been through this year. I look at what they're still going through. And I do see a team that is probably just barely hanging on. And they are a team that if you are the real deal, and I know the Seattle team thinks they are, then you got to take care of it. So the debate, and there were plenty of people out there who were falling on one side of the conversation or the other. There were people who were rooting for the Eagles to win this game because they wanted to play the Rams first. And then there were people that were rooting for the Niners because they wanted to play the Niners. Now, I see both sides of it. I think that there is some wisdom in the idea of we should have wanted to play the Rams because then we catch them off our bye while the Rams are coming off a tough game against the Panthers that they had to gut out in the final seconds. And also now the Rams get a game against the Bears in Chicago where, I was going to say something. I'm not even going to say it. I'm done doubting the Bears. I'm done counting out the Bears. You cannot count that team out. They have shown time and time again this year they can dig victory out of the jaws of defeat. So maybe the Rams fall in Chicago, but you are setting up for a pretty good chance. If you beat the Niners next week, you're setting up for a game against the Rams in the NFC title game where both teams will be coming off a game, and it's just a scenario where it's a little bit more even and it's a little bit more reasonable for the Rams to go on the road and win. But so it goes. At the end of the day, you're the number one seed. You got to just go through. You just got to find your way through. You just got to win. And whoever they put in front of you, you know you can do it, right? You've beaten both of these teams this year. So whatever the order ends up being, and maybe we end up playing the Bears now, which I think I would be pretty excited to play that Bears team with the way that their defense is so beat up right now. And I think that McDonald can get some stuff on that offense. So if that's the way it goes, then so be it. But right now, the focus, we're playing the 49ers in the divisional round. So let me know what you think about that. I'll see you guys later. Go Hawks. Maybe another video later, but we know what the deal is now.